Paloma Faith, leaving my marriage was the best choice I ever made. When people talk about success, they usually mean fame, money, or recognition. But sometimes, the bravest and most life-changing success has nothing to do with awards or applause. Sometimes, success is choosing yourself, especially when that choice is painful, public, and misunderstood. Singer and songwriter Paloma Faith once said, "Leaving my marriage was the best choice I ever made." At first, that statement might sound shocking. Marriage is supposed to last forever. Leaving is often seen as failure. But when Paloma Faith shared her experience, she wasn't celebrating loss. She was talking about freedom, growth, and self-respect. Today, I want to explore what that statement really means, why it matters, and what we can learn from it. Not just about relationships, but about identity, courage, and knowing when to walk away. From a young age, many of us are taught that staying is the goal. Stay loyal. Stay committed. Stay, even when it hurts. Marriage, in particular, carries heavy expectations. Society often tells us that if something ends, it means someone failed. That idea can be even stronger for women, especially women in the public eye. They're expected to hold it together, to sacrifice, to make things work no matter the cost. For Paloma Faith, leaving her marriage wasn't just a personal decision. It happened under public attention, judgment, and headlines. Every move she made was open to interpretation. And yet, she chose to leave. Not because she didn't value commitment, but because she valued herself. One of the most powerful ideas in Paloma Faith's statement is this: leaving is not the same as giving up. Sometimes, leaving is an act of clarity. When a relationship no longer supports your emotional health, your growth, or your sense of self, staying can slowly erase who you are. You might still be present physically, but mentally and emotionally, you disappear. Paloma Faith has spoken openly about rediscovering herself after her marriage ended, about reconnecting with her creativity, her confidence, and her voice. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens when someone finally says, "This is not the life I want anymore." Choosing to leave can be choosing to live more honestly. Let's be honest, one of the biggest reasons people stay unhappy is fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of being alone. Fear of disappointing others. When a public figure like Paloma Faith speaks openly about divorce, she challenges a powerful stigma. She reminds us that endings don't automatically mean damage. Sometimes, they mean healing. There is a strange expectation that suffering is more respectable than change. That if you endure quietly, you are stronger. But strength isn't about how much pain you tolerate, it's about how truthfully you live. By saying her choice was the best one she ever made, Paloma Faith reclaims the narrative. She refuses to frame her story as a tragedy. Long-term relationships can shape who we think we are. You become someone's partner before you become yourself. Your decisions, routines, and dreams start to revolve around another person. When a marriage ends, it can feel like losing a map. Suddenly, there's no shared future plan, no familiar structure. But that emptiness can also become space. For Paloma Faith, that space became a place to reconnect with her art, her individuality, and her independence. Creativity often flourishes when people feel free to be honest. Many artists produce their most meaningful work after moments of emotional upheaval, not because pain is beautiful, but because truth is powerful. Her story shows that identity doesn't end when a relationship does. In many cases, it finally begins. Although Paloma Faith's experience is personal, the message reaches far beyond her life. It speaks to anyone who feels trapped by expectations, to women who are told they must sacrifice endlessly, to people who feel guilty for wanting more, to anyone afraid that choosing themselves is selfish. Leaving a marriage, or any relationship, doesn't mean you failed at love. It can mean you succeeded at honesty. And that honesty sets an example. When public figures speak openly about difficult choices, they give others permission to reflect on their own lives without shame. One of the hardest truths to accept is this: not all relationships are built to last forever. Some relationships teach us who we are. Some teach us what we need. Some teach us what we will no longer accept. Staying in something that only helps you survive, instead of thrive, slowly drains your spirit. Paloma Faith's words remind us that love should not require self-erasure. The best relationships allow growth on both sides. When that balance is gone, choosing to leave can be an act of respect, for yourself and for the other person. Strength is often imagined as endurance. But sometimes, strength is walking away. It's filling out the paperwork. It's having the difficult conversations. It's facing quiet evenings alone and trusting that they won't stay empty forever. Paloma Faith's statement reframes strength as self-trust. She trusted her instincts over public opinion. She trusted that her life could be fuller on the other side of loss. That kind of strength isn't loud. It's steady. We don't need to be famous to learn from Paloma Faith's experience. Her story encourages us to ask ourselves important questions. Am I staying because I'm happy? Or because I'm afraid? Am I living according to my truth, or someone else's expectations? Do I feel like myself, or a smaller version of myself? These questions apply to friendships, careers, and personal goals, not just marriage. Leaving doesn't always mean walking away from a person. Sometimes it means leaving an old version of yourself behind. When Paloma Faith said, "Leaving my marriage was the best choice I ever made," she wasn't celebrating heartbreak. She was celebrating honesty, courage, and renewal. Her story reminds us that endings can be beginnings in disguise. That choosing yourself is not an act of selfishness, but an act of responsibility to your future. Life doesn't reward silence or endurance alone. It rewards truth. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is step into the unknown and trust that you are enough to build something new. Choosing yourself is not the end of love. It's the beginning of living fully,